It's Dr. Cody Rall with Techforpsych. Today I'm hiking in the Shenandoah State Park, and we're in an area called Big Meadows, and it is amazing. The birds are out, there's butterflies, the weather is perfect, a little bit of a breeze to keep the hot sun off of us. It's about late April and it's already heating up. And what I wanted to talk about today is the innovation of technology. I have my drone with me today. It's actually one of the first times I've been able to fly it. And it got me thinking about the shots that I wanted to take with it and the creativity that comes out of it. And it's just amazing to think what our tools actually allow us as humans to do, whether it be paintbrushes, whether it be doing digital art on the computer, whether it be flying a drone over a valley. It is just incredible what our tools allow us to do, and I think that when you use or think about technology in that way, it really propels us forward. I think a lot of people worry about technology and have it taken away from our experience. But what I think is that if you use technology the right way, it can add to the experience, it can accentuate the experience. I'm not walking around here with my phone and checking my text messages or my email. That would be an incorrect use of technology. But actually hooking my phone up to a remote control that allows me to fly a drone over a valley and get incredible footage, now that is using technology. And it got me thinking about what actually we can do in the future with things that are being developed. And as I go through this hike, I want to talk about Brainscans. Yeah, you know, I want to talk about Brainscans. That's what I do. But I think it's actually a really interesting curtail into thinking about technology, incorporating it into nature, and using it as a tool to further enhance what we can do here with our time on Earth. I think one of the reasons why people have felt like technology has taken us away from nature is that up until now, the complexity of technology has sort of separated us from reality. If you think about the original computers, maybe like the original Mac computer that I had in my classroom when I was in the 3rd grade, basically it was like a DOS program. And we even have some of that with my medical technology right now, which is insane that it's still around. But basically you're entering commands on the computer and it's putting out these prompts. Most people couldn't even use computers until you got operating programs like Windows that came out that were more intuitive to use. But as our technology increases in complexity, I think it's going to more accurately represent our surroundings, which is nature. Biology is incredibly complex. Physics and chemistry are incredibly complex. And when we try to use our senses to understand our nature, our surroundings in nature, and then take a look at an electronic device, all the electronic devices are very cool. They're not capturing our entire imagination like nature can. They don't pull us out of our senses. But I think as the technology of optics, sensors, robotics, all these come to the next stage of fruition, we're going to see a very different view of technology and what it's actually capable of doing. If you've seen my previous talks, I've spoke about exponential technology and how the rate of increase in technology complexity increases an exponential growth curve. So one that's really championed that is Peter Diamandis, and he wrote about this in both his books, Abundance and Bold, in which he spoke of Moore's law, the accelerated returns, smarter machines making smarter machines, the complexity of our technological devices increasing at an exponential rate. He told the story of Kodak and how Kodak actually went out of business after 100 years because even though they designed the first digital camera in 1975, they didn't actually predict that it would put them out of market within 15 to 20 years. And when the digital camera really came on market within the year of 2000s, drove Kodak out of business within a couple of years. The same phone that the iPhone came out in 2007, they stopped turning a profit and they had to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2012. The point of that story is they didn't see this exponential increase in pixels within digital pictures. And with that fatal flaw, a 100-year-old company went out of business seemingly overnight. We're seeing other changes in industries like Uber challenging the taxi industry, Amazon challenging any retail stores. We're seeing Netflix take on the movie business. There are other companies that are moving very fast to take advantage of our ability to process digital information over the internet, over the web, and throughout our wireless connected devices. This is going to change the whole landscape. We can always go back to nature and enjoy nature and feel like it's the same as it was before, but how long will that happen? And actually flying the drone around today made me, it's such a striking visual image when you see a drone flying around in nature, because you see this synergy between something beautiful, which is nature, and something beautiful as well, which is this flying robot that's flying through the air and taking images of it. It's a really striking thing to see. And I think, again, what we're going to see is the more coming together of technology and nature. Kind of like the logo that I made for Techforpsych actually has, if you look at it, it's got almost like roots like a plant, but then growing up into digital circuitry. And I think what I was going for on that is that I would like to see our technology much more accurately reflect nature and allow us to interact with it in even better ways. Now, what I was talking about before was creativity through technology. And having the drone out here in the environment actually makes me feel like I can do creative things, like take creative shots. I've been having creative ideas all day about what I can do with this technology. And so I just gave my grand rounds this week in town. And what I was talking about, of course, was exponential technology and how the computing speed of our computers is allowing us to get even more creative with our technology. Now, I've been doing a lot of videos on EEG devices. EEG has gone from systems that cost upwards of $100,000 down to something that you can wear on your head for $200. There's a lot of creativity that's coming out of that. A lot of people that are looking at the raw EEG data that are coming out of these headsets and using that to look at different brain waves, like beta waves in the frontal lobe, or alpha waves in the back lobe, or delta waves throughout the entire brain activity region. You know, I just spoke to Dr. Graham Moffat. I had that interview on my last video. And he was saying that they've been finding things that they've never seen before simply because they can get the nuances of seeing different brainwaves in different people. Now, the same way that EEG has gone from these very expensive devices down to much cheaper devices, the personal EEG devices, there is a good chance that brain imaging is going to happen the same way. And there's something really interesting that's happening with brain imaging right now. So Washington University down in St. Louis is doing some amazing things. And one project they've been working on is near-infrared spectroscopy. Near-infrared light comes from the sun, and we can generate it artificially. And the interesting thing about near-infrared light is it actually penetrates biological tissue. It can actually go through your arm or to within a certain depth of the brain. The problem is it gets scattered a lot. So we need complex computing in order to reassemble the actual information that's coming from near-infrared light to make it into usable images. Now, the crazy thing is we've really gotten to a level of computing speed and mathematical proficiency to where Washington University brilliantly has made it work and be comparable to functional MRI to within an inch depth of the skull. So near-infrared light, whether it hits oxygenated or deoxygenated hemoglobin, shows you those patterns. So you can do something very functional to functional MRI, which is looking at the different metabolic patterns in the brain reflecting neuronal activity. Going back to one of the first videos, one of the first TED Talks that got me so interested in this subject matter was Mary Lou Jepsen talking about different fMRI patterns and actually reassimilating images that people had seen. Basically, they sat people in an fMRI scanner and showed them hundreds of hours of YouTube videos. Then they cataloged those brain images and stored them. Then they took the people and showed them completely new images and had the computer try to reassimilate exactly what it thought they had seen. And the side-by images were insane. The amount of similarity between the images was astounding. Just from brain imaging alone, from patterns in the occipital lobe, we could see that one day when we have increased resolution of brain scans, we will be able to see what people are visualizing. There was a study that she showed before that compared actually seeing an image to visualizing the image. And they were very, very similar. So one day what we're gonna have are devices that allow us to visualize image, to see images in our mind and have the brain scanner pick that up and reassimilate it and project it on a screen. Think of the creativity that we could get out of that. Think of projecting images, these things that you imagine in your mind, and just projecting them right up on the screen. It could be a completely new arena, And of course, it would factor into brain-computer interface and other things that we could do with this technology. Now, the crazy thing about Mary Lou Jepsen is she worked for Facebook and Google X, Google's secret research department. And she recently quit her job this past summer. She stopped working at Facebook in Oculus Rift with Mark Zuckerberg and started her own company called Open Water. And this is so interesting. She has a knowledge of manufacturing iPhones in Asia and other gadgets in Asia that have really perfected the art of creating LCDs and detector technology. And if you've seen some of her talks, she talks about LCDs projecting near-infrared light and having that scatter pattern go through the brain and be picked up by detectors. Now, there's no reason why this technology couldn't be scaled down to something that fits within the ski cap. We could literally have a device that fits in a ski cap that could see what people visualize. It could be a completely new area of brain science, creativity, general culture, and reconnecting us back with the wonders of the human brain and nature. I'm so excited to see where this technology takes us. There's a lot happening with the Brain Initiative. They're designing new coils, new contrast agents, and new ways of imaging the brain. The Human Connectome project has gotten to the point where they can identify people by 99% accuracy just based on their connectome alone. So much happening. I'm so excited for it. I think this technology is going to take us a long ways. That's what I had to talk about today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you next time. This is Dr. Cody Rall with Techforpsych. Okay.